Hi everybody, good morning. I'm continue doing the rooms I didn't do before. Genius penetration tester path. There is a room I'm doing today, authentication bypass. Um, Authentication bypass learn how to defeat login and other authentication mechanism to allow you access to an permitted area. Task 1 brief. In this room we will learn about different ways website authentication methods can be bypassed, defeated or broken. These vulnerabilities can be some of the most critical as it often end in leaked customer personal data. So we have brief, start machine, we have IP 10.10.232.225. So of course I have all the command for this room here, so it's easy for us to copy and paste, so we don't need waste time for it. If you go to your IP, you have but this ACME. One always like to do is have a network tab, because to check what's happening, usually especially when rooms has IP, not special for this one, but it's good to see what's going on, what your website like is doing. Habit also check the page source, it see anything that interesting. Like here we can just see the form, we can see the names, name is password, name is username, so it's not different. But for this room is not specific either. So if I go login, usually you do the default check how the application react. uh, it said invalid username password, so it doesn't give us any clear info. So if I go to sign up, or if I say for example say admin, and I say for example admin at local, and I just say admin123, of course it will send me an account with a username already exists. So this usually what attacker do. When you have this type of message, it means I can if I have a list of username, and most of this you get them because that part of the word list. So if you go to if you are in the attack box, usually you find them like ls usage uh, word list sec. There's too many word lists here where you can like we have username there. So for example now the idea is because we let's go to now username enumeration. So because now let's before we go there, let's make sure what I have this, and also I did we have the burp. We'll test it now. So we have now, we know application do an error message or username, so we can use the existing of the error message to produce a list of valid username. So we can have username from this, we already have it. Now we can use ffuf. Usually, let's explain it first. Let's copy this. So basically mine is w, so it's word list, so we're giving it the word list that we have. And because we send in the request, you can see it's a post. Because it's post request, I can just come here, I do sign up, and you can know it's a post request. It's a post request. Request is this one, so I'm sending this data, header, and then very important request header. You have a content type. This is very important when you send data. And then how the data was sent, it's sent basically this way. But if you want to see it, how you just click there, edit and respond, and you can see it's there, how that's the URL, how it gets sent for the sign up. So if you go so we send in D, because we send in the data of post, so we have username equals fuzz. Fuzz is where this variable will get replaced from this list. So usually wherever you see fuzz is replaced from this list. So we send in email. We're not interested with the email, so we just put X. Password, we are more looking which one will reject the word fuzz. And then MR we filter in. That's MR argument is the text on the page we are looking for. So we're looking for this specific term. username already exists. So the header, so you don't get confused, this is a normal header when you send it, so you can see it here. Where is it? Application content load. So let's be clear on that. So if we run this, for example, it pick up admin first letter A, and let's see what it will pick up also. Let's open the tab quickly. Let's create a file called vimvalid, like username .txt. So when you have admin, we have Robert, we have Simon and Steve. Simon, and we have Steve. So we have a list of username that we can. So we have card valid. So we have this 4. So we got 4 username. So you can see, you can save this in your note in the future. If you are an application, you can use this command of ffuf. So you know where the D come from. The D, you know the H, the header argument is used to add an additional header to the request. In this sense, that we set in the W content to the web 7 when we are sending a form data. Now we have a list. Now so what's with SI is Simon. With the ST is Steve. What's Stephen E? And then Robert. So now we got the username, and so now if we go to our application, let's go back this. So now we have a valid user. So now we can go to a login page and try to crack it. So because now we can basically you test for example Robert and check the password. The password, as always, you can use for example we have user share word list. We can have Roku, but it's very long. TryHackMe we're using now, which we're using the brute force. We're using this one. Let me show you quickly. Clear. So now what exactly we're doing? We're doing same command ffuf. We're doing -w. We're using the valid username as w1 value. We're using the password from user share circ list. So this one is a circ list is also there. User share circ list word list circ list. So we have that in attack box, word list sec password common credential 10 million. They don't want a top 100, so it doesn't take long. It means this room is just for learning purposes. And then post D. So we post in the username with a value w1, which is mean the username we have, and the password take a w2, which is mean take it from this list. Of course, we always need the content type, and then we have the IP login, and then you see if we remove that FC200, you see too much noise. So basically we just set -FC200 because we looking for the redirect, because if you log in correctly you go the page, because we tested let me show you why that can't. So now we got Steve, and the password is Thunder. So if you go to the network again, close that. If I go Steve and I go Thunder. Now I log in now as Steve. Well, where is it? You see the status code here. You can see the status code here. We're not interested at 200, we're interested at 302, because when you log in and the correct password, it redirect you to the page. So header, we're looking for this number 302. because when you log in it takes you straight to the protected page. That's why uh, when we did we filter in the 200, we don't want the 200, we want the other one, so we was looking for the 302. So you can see why we did the brute force. I forgot about it. That's why we have minus f200. So okay, this one we got it already. Steve Thunder. So now we have a username. Welcome, there's nothing special there. Steve, you have no support ticket. No, that's fine. The next one is a logical flow. The logical flow is sometimes authentication process contain logical flow. A logic flow is when a typical logical path of application is a bypass, circumvented, or manipulated by a hacker. Logical flows can exist in any area of the website, but we are going to concentrate an example relating to authentication. Um, for example, here they play with this example. It's a bit confusing, this example. This one, it mean the below mock code example check to see whether the start of the path the client is visiting begin with the /admin, and so if so, then further check are mode to see whether the client is in fact an admin. If the page doesn't begin with admin, the page is shown to the client. Because of the PHP code example uses 3 equal sign, it's looking for an exact match on the string, including the same letter casing, because it means we can bypass it for just using, for example, play with the letter like that. The code presents a logical flaw because an authenticated user requesting admin will not have the previous checked and have the page displayed to them. Again, his issue. So it means this page must be exist first, because um, the way that if statement, because here it say if it's not if it's admin, check the login, else view the page. I'm not 100% because it means most of the server, when you have cap small letter, we reject it. It's only Windows is not case sensitive. Linux is case sensitive, so this admin will not go to admin. I'm not sure if I see the logic here, to be honest with you. It's very limited cases where this makes sense, because it means if is looking for an exact match. So if it's an admin, uh, check his user is admin. Then if not exact match, show a page. This logic flow, I can't lie to you guys about this. Let's play with this one. It's more makes better of sense. Here he said, we are going to examine the reset password function in ACM EIT support website, the reset. We see a form asking for the email, OK address, and they give us, we can play with Robert as an example. Let's say for some reason we know this guy. We then password. So if let's go to the reset password. Let's log out here. So if I log in, for example, click reset password, let's make sure where it's going here. Yeah, it go to reset as we know, so nothing special about it. Let's go back so we can so if it asks you for the email, we say Robert. Okay, let's follow what this application is doing here. You see what it's doing, it do reset email password, and you see it here. So it has the email already sent that side, and then it asks you for username. I said Robert. So watch this, the top, it's there, and then it send a request as a post now, not in get. So if I open this, edit and resend, you can see it has in the get request on top in the URL, but also has as a post request it send username is equal Robert. Okay, so now we don't have too much things, so we have this. Now at this stage you may wondering what the vulnerability could be in this application, as you have to know both email and username, and then the password link is sent to the email address of the account owner. This walkthrough will require running both of the below curl response. We don't need to use it's too much curl in this room. Let's use it by using it said the second step of the reset email is username is submitting the post request, which is we saw here. Username, you can see it's sent here, and the email is sent here. Remember, when it's in URL, usually you really catch it in get, and you have the post request and you have username here. Now what is sending in Robert? Let's illustrate by using a curl to manually make the request in the web server. So this is if you want to use curl. Let's copy the command, I have it here. This is if you want to use curl and learn about curl, so it's not really necessary. So if you go now, it's the same things. You can see what we did here using it. We can find the same things happening here. So we'll send you a reset email to Robert, something like that. So we are coding that part. So the H is the header, the content. So you can work in this. Here's where the tricky part is this one. In the application, the user account is retrieved using the query string, but later on in the application logic, the password reset email is sent using the data found in PHP variable request. Let's be clear. This is where we don't have the code of the application, but they tell us in this application the user account is retrieved using the query string. The query string, so it means from this. The user account is still using the query string. No, not query string. This is the email. So from there, but later on the application logic, the password reset email is sent using the data found in PHP variable request. The PHP request variable is an array that contains data received from query string and post data. The issue of request, you should never use it. It's not secure. If the same key name is used, because the last key is what win. If the same key name is used for both the query string and post data, the application logic of this variable favor post data rather than the query string. This is something to explain if you get confused about this. You can think possibly the back end of the system say user get by get email, that's a string, but somehow when it's in the post where use a request, which is mean possibly that's the logic. The request it favor the post, so developers should avoid using request. So usually you use get for query, post for post, and cookie. So usually most PHP will use these two. You don't use this. So because now we can inject, we can add. So request will favorite, as I said, if it will not, this will become second, and we can use post first. I don't know how to explain, but they say the post data. So basically here, if you follow here the same things, here it's sending, we send in email as a post request. You can do the same things, or you can just come here if you want to play around, and you can say and email, for example, equal what TryHackMe want us to use, attacker@hacker.com. You can use attacker@hacker.com. So we can push the email here. Remember, email is here and it's also here, but this one will win because the bottom one, what exactly is doing here? So this, you have two emails. You have this one, no, this one. You have Robert email, and then we have attack email. And because this one is post request and this one is guest request, and request will favor the post data as second, as the last one win. That well, usually with the request things. So if we test now this, so email, we just did the request, we just send it again. We send it again. Okay, we send in Robert request, we send in attacker is hacker. If we got the response, and we can see attacker hacker was sent. So it mean this request, um, this request of the application, even when we sent this and we sent Robert, it take this one. That's the logical flow of it. So of course you can use that curl things. So if you want to use curl, the same things here, we can use it from here. If you want to use curl, you can use curl. You can just copy that, and then what happened here? And you can see we'll send you an email too. So usually I like sometimes just play in the browser here. So sometimes you don't need too many fancy curl and things like that. You can do all the things in your browser if you want. Now the trick how to bus, if you follow the same logic he said to us, create a username and then send it to yourself, and let's do that. Because now we need an email, we don't have an email. So let's go to customer, sign up. Let's go back to our, so you can watch what's going on. Username Jalil, local.com, password Jalil123, Jalil123, and it log us. So now we have, we got an email. They tell us you got an email. Okay, so we can go. I can copy this email. We can do what we did before. We can just use the curl if you want this time. So if you want to not complicating things, you can just say there. This is Robert. So if you go there and you click there, it said your email was sent to that. And if I go back to my support ticket, I found a new, and we have a reset link. And then if I open it, we got that. We can also do what we did before. Remember before when we start Robert things. If you want to do it in the browser, remember the account what we said. We said Robert. Remember Robert, and then we said reset Robert. We can just see edit recent. What? Robert, what's wrong with you? Is not what email did we test before with? ACM. Oh, the I'm just showing you in case you want you want you can use the same technique here. Why is not working now? Something is not right now. Yeah, post customer reset email, Robert. We did this before. Why suddenly now is not working? Username, Robert. My goodness. Wait, we can't reset twice. We already reset email, Robert, context, username, Robert, and email equal. Uh, email equal. So, what exactly I did wrong here? Oh, guys, I and so yeah, you can do it from your browser if you want. So that's what the point I want to make here. Customer. So if I log with my email that we create before, username Jalil 123. Then of course, if you go to my support ticket, I can go my second one that we tested from the browser, and then of course you go there. Uh, you open it again. Welcome. You go to support ticket, and then we got our flag. So the logical flow here is basically the logical flow here is using this request. Is not recommend to use it in now let's go with our friend cookies. um, Cookies is basically, yeah, the cookie. If I set cookie logged in true max age, things like that. Usually, for example, they give us the page cookie dash test, uh, cookie dash test. Whenever usually you this one is always good to use it. I like to use it in the browser. So you go to storage, you have cookie, and you see why it said admin false. Yeah, admin false session we don't have. So it said not logged in. Usually, sometimes when you do rooms like rooms, you can just do play with it in things. You can and then just refresh the page and still not working. So we're not admin truth doesn't give me what I'm looking for. So if you go now, I said go set, we can see that we return message not logged in. Now we send another request with logged in cookie. So you can use this in code. We just use it in your browser. You can just click plus and say login. What's the name? Logged in? No, not log in. Logged in. We can keep this one false, like follow the same as the room, and we can just log in true. So it means this an application is not checking it's, and you say logging in and user, we come back to our log. You see, you can play with it, so you can guess there is a cookie called login. That's what exactly log in. Then the next one, we send the last request with both login in and admin. Usually you come, this is like a very simple approach. And if I go through here and refresh, it and me got logged and I have so this is very simple app. You can use the curl, not always curl is sometimes it is simpler to do it. But cookie also, you can see they use hashing. Sometimes cookie value can look like a long string, like for example. So when you see string like that, always there was a room it tracked me 2 weeks ago or something. Spent a whole Saturday and Sunday until we realized there was something rated MD5 and didn't notice it. When you see random numbers like that, don't jump. Try to take them. For example, I can take this one. I can just go there and to this crack station and see if it crack it. So for example, that MD5 result is 1. So when you see random numbers, always try to see what's the origin of them. Encoding is similar to hashing in that, but it's create what we would seem to be random. So usually if you have binary or something, you always use like if you see special, you see this when you see up letter, cap letter, and you see especially this at the end is always like a base 64 encoding. For example, if you usually when you have this, is two ways to do it. um, in attack box you can just go there and open offline chef. So if I see this, for example, I don't know what is it, I can just do this, Control C, come here, you will detect it. No, not you. Come there and it detects it automatic for you, and it say there. Or you can just do this in your Linux. You can just do echo minus n no, not minus n. We're not decoding, we're not encoding. You just encode and then base 64 minus d, and you can see it's there. Now for example here, let's say what is the value MD5 hash for this so this one you can just take it to when it's hashes, just come here and you'll find it. The next question said, what is the base 64 decode value of this? Okay, let's get that. So if it what is it decode as a flag? Let's confirm that. Echo minus n, because we don't echoes always have that line. We need to remove it. Base 64 minus d. Why am you don't need the n? Sorry guys, that n, don't do it for this. We do it when we encode, not when we decode. Let me show you what I'm saying. Now we need it in these things. If you want to do base 64 of this, I can come here and search here for base 64 and just put it there. So the reason why I said, let me show you why. Look, for example here, if I do echo, why it keep so that's the value for the base 64. If I do echo, undo this and pass it to the base64. You see it add these things which we don't have there. So you have 9c, this one end with a 9, v9, but you ask yourself why there is this. That's the line. That's why here I say we need to add that minus n to remove the line from the echo. Now we get the same result. Or you can just do printf and we get the same result on all of them. So the minus n to remove the new line, and you can just use cyberchef. It's always there. So basically is this. My advice is when you go to this type of rooms and TryHackMe and all of that, learn to use the browser. Learn to use this browser. Cookie always here. So my advice, always look here, because when you do CTF, sometimes you log in and you say it's a base64. You can change and become admin, things like that. The network tab is also important, so you can see and play. Yeah, like for example here, because in this room we already know, for example in this when you set the request, remember when we said we don't use the request parameter, um, this one, because here the room they told us is there is a request, but sometimes if you are in CTF they won't tell you, so you can play around, you can keep sending and play with the browser. Sometimes even change the method from here. You can say play with get and see what happened when I send. It doesn't. Sometimes application is you send different query, see how it react. No response. Okay, it's fine. So I hope you guys will like it. I'm trying to finish all of this. If you have a question, let me know in the comment. Please like and share. Thank you very much and have a good day.